struggled with as kind of anticipated was the come here, not really like when you say okay, she's still just like walking at heel.
Oh yeah,
for a while.
With the caution.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when I've taken her like alone at like 7 in the morning, that's around here where everyone has their dog running around off leash. So when I'm by myself, I've been like more nervous, and I think she like feels that and stays by me. So yeah, you're right. Getting to even practice the recall is harder than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, so I try to get to it as soon as possible.
Yeah.
There's no timeline to anything. Okay. Either through the human's progress, the dog's progress, or just life happens. I had a dog that I trained not too far from here actually. Came to me dog reactive. Made great progress. Was awfully reliable for the recall and the heel and stuff. And I remember on the last session talking with the owner, and she's like, I was like, man, you've done a great job. Like, you got it. And she's like, I don't know if I could ever trust this dog off leash, because the reactivity and stuff caused a lot of distress.
This feels like I could be potentially a person who feels that way. So
But
continue.
a year later, because we do our pack walks, right?
Yeah.
She surprised me, came out to a pack walk. Her dog was off leash, and the heel and everything. Came out to me like, hey Jesse, like, it's been great. He's made doggy friends. I trust him off leash now, because she had to. Trust comes from control with the dog, both for the owner and even for others. So like, I had another client whose dog bit the dad, and then I told him like, in order to fix that relationship, you gotta have a lot of control over your dog. Once your dad sees how much control you have, you're gonna start to see trust in them. And sure enough, that happened, right? So that's why I took a little rush. Take your time, because you're not just building her skill set, you're building your comfort and you're building your skill set, right? Because if she took off running for whatever reason, I know I jumped to that remote and I will make her come back.
Yeah.
But I've done that already. Okay. Most people go, holy shit.
I know, right?
And I just recently, I don't know if I talked to you guys about this, but I started watching this like self-protection channel, and a lot of the stuff he says, I teach my clients. So one of them is like getting your gun out to draw within a second, and he says you want to have that because in real life, when you're under stress, you're not going to be at a second, you're going to be at 1.5 seconds, you're going to be at 1.9 seconds, right? There's a little delay, maybe a little scuffle or something, right? He's like, but you're building just that subconscious draw so much that you don't even think about it, right? So for my owners, I go same thing. I try to push them to the remote as soon as I can and start alleviating the leash, because if they're too used to the leash, when their dog gets off, the first thing they go for is the leash as opposed to going to the remote. Does that make sense?
No, it does. It's definitely
because we're thinking. I train for when you need your obedience to absolutely work without question.
Yep.
Life is easy. Off leash and camping and maybe a deer, deer or a squirrel, okay, get over here, right? But it's more so like, who grew up in a fucking firecracker?
Yeah.
What a jerk. My dog's running away. My dog's running towards the street, right? There's an off-leash dog charging us. That's the stuff that I'm used to, and I prep my clients for. So, it's normal. Okay, so don't feel bad about it. What we want to do is build comfort, okay? So what I would do is you pop her on the long leash, and okay, like, which makes it easier actually for you in terms of like other people's dogs, is when you let her go off leash, you don't have to give her the full 30.
Yeah.
Cut it in half, give her 15, right? Just cut that leash in half and meander through the park.
Okay.
And what you're working on is building her comfort of, you can wander from me, right? And then, because what can happen is if you see the first opportunity, yes, get over here, right?
Yeah. It's like everyone else's dog, like, they know what their dog's doing, and they're just like, I'm gonna come right in front of you. And she's actually, like, not gonna do anything. Like, I actually think she's better when she's not, like, on a leash.
Right.
So, but it's still just like, I am, like, instinctively like, okay, like, come on. And then she's like, okay, well, I guess I can't do whatever, so
one thing you want to do here is look at your obedience and how it functions, okay? So, if I come to the park, I have what I call off-leash etiquette, right? I let my dogs go off-leash, and they'll run about 20, 30 feet around me. And let's say I have clear open space. I don't care. But then I see someone playing fetch with their dog. I'm not going to just cut through.
Yeah.
So what I would either do if I need to get past that person is I'd call my dogs into a heel, cut through, because I'm not worried about the engagement.
Yep.
Okay, but I'm still keeping a distance from I'm not going to catch their dog's attention. Does that make sense? Because we got their dog, we got our dogs. So I know that the general rule of thumb is about 30 to 50 feet of a bubble. Okay, so we have personal, we have intimate space, personal space, community space, public space. Okay, intimate is 2 to 3 feet of you. Okay, so like if I got really close to you in that space and I was looking at you, you'd be like, "What the hell is going on here?" Right? Very uncomfortable. That's only for certain people.
Please keep your social distance
Yeah,
from me.
close talkers, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, personal space is this. I'm outside of 3 feet, within about 8 feet, right? I'm in your personal space. Then we go to community space, which would be like, let's say you're having a little birthday party, you get some tables, you set it up. That's about 20 feet, so maybe 30 feet, right? So if I walked into the birthday party, you guys don't know me, everybody's like, what's going on? Why is he in our community space, right? Public space is where you don't care about, right? Like these people, we know they're there, but we don't really notice them unless they had an off-leash dog, but they're outside of that 30 to 50 foot range. So we should not see attention, right? So if I know I got to cut through an off-leash dog or whatever, I keep my dogs tight because I know they won't leave. But now I got to keep myself out of that dog's radar, and that's 30 to 50 feet out. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So with what you know now, what I would do is I come here, look at my space. Okay, long leash. I'm going to give you 15. Break. We meander. I see someone do, right? Kirby, heel, and start to curve out. So you're not running from it. You're just getting that control. You're reading the situation, and you're keeping outside of that bubble. They pass up. You stop. She sits. Good girl. Break. Go back to meandering again. Right. So you can still use it to your advantage.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you're getting used to maneuvering through life. How does your obedience help you within those moments where it's like I'm going to need control, or there's somebody doesn't have control, right? And you're making your way through it. So this way, when you get to that point where she's comfortable and she can be off leash, then you just do a recall when you need it. Go into the heel. Okay, we're in the clear. Break again.
So like, is it good way to practice it too? Just doing that, like, okay, like give her 15 feet and like walk through the park. 'Cause, like, I think the other, hypothetically, if we're both here, it's like, oh, we want to like have this space and do like back and forth sort of thing. But the reality is, like, in the mornings, or like often there is just one of us who has to like take her out sort of
Correct.
thing. And when I come here in the morning, it's like, oh, well, yeah, we're talking about community space or personal space. Like, everyone's got their dog already in these like pockets, and I'm like, well, like, it's 7 a.m. and I can't find one for me just to like feel comfortable
Right. So
doing the like back and forth.
when you got to do those pockets, that's when you use that tight control. Okay, and I would keep her on a 50-foot slack leash if you're comfortable with it. Right?
Yeah.
So you're bringing in the heel, right? She's still on the leash. If maybe you're not feeling comfortable, always err on what's going to make you feel good. Is what I tell people.
Okay.
So if you're like, I'm going to go to this pocket, but I think I should go to 5 to 8 feet, do so. Okay? Because what happens is, if you push yourself before you're ready and things go south, you're going to panic.
Yeah.
Okay? When you're ready, that's when you're not going to panic. You're going to jump into remote, get your ass over here. Okay? So that's the difference. So that may be different for you than it is for him. Okay? So then you show up, and what you're building here is the topic changes from, we wanted to rehearse recall, but let's say you're solo, but I see you're gluing to me, so now instead I'm going to focus on building comfort so that you can be off from me and not feel like you have to glue to me. Okay? And that's the drawback with a remote, is that we create that caution first, but it's a pro because it's what prevents dogs from taking off in the first place. Okay? So like if there was like a squirrel or something over here, like dogs that really have high prey drive, once we cover this, they're like, all right, that squirrel's out of my scope. But I would imagine if the dog was here, there's a squirrel here, it's gonna want to engage. It's in their personal space. You see that?
Yeah.
So, like earlier, you see that family that's sitting right there in that little triangle? Earlier, this lady was walking with a little Yorkie. I'm sure we've seen it too, she's always here. And the dog's like 40 feet away from her and crosses through that family's pocket. Okay? And the guy goes, can you put your dog on a leash, please? Right? And then she's like, why? He's like, can you put your dog on a leash, please? And then the dog's just walking and doing on everything, right? And she's like, we're at the park, right? And she just keeps walking, whatever, right? But he probably wouldn't have cared had that dog knock on their pocket, in their pocket, right?
Yeah.
And if we had an off-leash controlled dog, we would have etiquette, and we would have prevented that from happening. See how that works?
Yeah.
That's weird, also.
Yeah, I get you.
I'm already irritated by hearing that. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, being in this field, Yes. So welcome to having a dog in the city of Chicago.
Yeah.
But you can still practice stuff, and then that'll help speed along the process. Because if you come only once in a while and meander to build that comfort, it's going to be a long, drawn-out process.
Okay.
Right? So let's say you walk through for 15 minutes and you don't get the opportunity. No big deal. You finish her up, you walk back home.
Yeah.
Later in the day, you're just a couple blocks away, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. I would do that every walk if possible. It'll speed up that process, and then once you see comfort, I wouldn't even worry about jumping into the recall quite yet. Let her have
Just
that comfort.
let her just get comfortable that she's allowed to.
And then sporadically use it here and there, okay? Because you can always force it to happen between the two of you. But when you're trying to build the context of us being loose and free and enjoying this freedom and this control, and getting her to be comfortable with that as well.
Yeah.
Okay? It's super common, nothing out of the ordinary there.
Okay.
And I think it'll help you as well, just kind of getting used to using your obedience and all that stuff, how it functions, how it applies to life, and things like that. Okay?
Okay.
Anything else? How is she doing with behavior stuff?
Good.
She had a little moment with me yesterday on one of our walks.
Okay.
It wasn't you talking about like the second the holster versus the leash thing. Really resonates with me now because of like the thing I dealt with yesterday. It wasn't crazy.
Sure.
It was just like she has a preferred like bathroom spot in the neighborhood.
Okay.
That we take her to because we know if she needs to go, she's gonna go there. And it was just like we're walking the sidewalk, and there was just like a kid, 12-year-old kid on a scooter, sort of like he's 12 years old or however old he was.
Sure.
So like he's on a scooter, like motoring right at us.
Oh, sure.
Like not, and so it's alarming to her, I assume.
Yes.
And so she sort of like, bows up a little bit and growls and sort of like jumps, not at him, just like, and we weren't.
She's asserting it, like just like
we weren't close enough to where there was going to be.
That is
like
a good thing. I do know
physical.
She reacts before.
This kid is probably still half a block away.
Oh, okay.
So like it's I would have done something sooner if we were close enough to where she actually could have like made contact.
Sure.
But so it was sort of simultaneous, I guess, but I was like, one, I was like making sure I have hold on the leash, and then two, tap, tap, tap on the buzzer, brought her down, made her sit, kid scootered past us, as after I tapped enough, she wasn't even looking at the kid, she was like sitting down and like clearly still a little like,
for sure,
riled up, but like just looking at me.
Yes.
Not the kid.
Good.
The kid scooter's by. So I think at the end of the day it was like
a success.
Like a successful
For
interaction.
Sure. Absolutely.
But she did, and she hasn't done that with me in a long time. So it was like a.
Oh, you are on like the.
It was
like
a
I am.
reaction.
I'm always like ready for it.
Yeah, I'm like she's been and like I look like when I take her like I'm trying to confront those situations most of the time, like just head on.
Yep.
Like I'm trying to push her through all of that stuff. But yeah, yesterday it was just a one-off that I haven't seen in probably over a month.
Yeah, I think that was a really good moment. Okay. So success. What is success? Welcome to my TED Talk. So I think a lot of people view success with their dog as their dog's never gonna fuck up. It's not how it works. Okay, doesn't work for people, ain't gonna work for dogs, right? Success for me is one of two things, if not maybe a couple more. I've had my pit for 8 years. Okay, now if my pit was owned by anybody else, they would have issues, for sure. Okay, but with me, she's also my right-hand girl. I use her to socialize with my dog all the time. She's had 5 reactive moments, seemingly out of nowhere. One in particular, I was in the South Loop walking. My neighbor was crossing. He had an old hound with them. And I'm like, hey, how are you? And then and my reaction was like, what the fuck? And she just like, ugh. And then right away, just locked in, she kept walking. I don't know why. Okay, but I wasn't worried because I could fix it. But also, it was like once, and then the last time I probably saw it was like 2 years prior. It happens. So there's that. What's the frequency, right?
Yeah.
If it went from every day to once in 6 months, once a year, like that's good, right? The other one is, I get some dogs that aren't that great with the owner shutting down the reactivity. Okay, then I look at shut down the reactivity. Is it because it went from not being able to do anything to be able to actually shut the dog up? The dog just doesn't retain the lesson. Okay, that's a super rare dog. We get like 3, maybe 5 dogs like that a year. Okay, these are like really like physically resilient, powerful bully breed type dogs. We had a stream of blue healers that all fell within that category. Okay, both human and dog, and seemingly not maintaining stuff, right? But they just took a much harsher approach in terms of corrections. But they're addressing it more often than others would. Different case. But for me and for them, it's a success because they can at least stop it.
Yeah.
They have the control essentially, whereas before it was no control, and it was just get out the situation or pick up your dog or do whatever, and it doesn't really fix anything. Okay, every case is different, and then you want to just kind of the realistic expectation of what success is. Again, nothing's 100% perfect. What I want is when you guys leave this program, is you're ready for life. You turn a corner, there's a dog. Oh shit! Right. Ideally, you want to turn a corner, nothing happens. Great. But if it does happen, you kick into boom, boom, boom. All right, we got everything back under control. We enjoy our walk. We walk for another 2 hours. We see tons of dogs, and there's no more reactivity.
Yeah.
Things like that are going to happen. Stuff like that. In case of emergency, she's off leash. Hopefully nothing happens, but if it does, you can make her come back. You have the confidence to do so, and then just the confidence to enjoy life with her.
Yeah.
Do more things with her. Go on runs with her. Take her to restaurant packages. You may have to, advocate for her. If you're at a patio, they're like, oh my God, look at your cute dog, so well behaved, laying there.
You're like, no, please don't touch her.
Leave my dog alone. Thank you. Right?
Yeah.
So it's packaging them. So I think you guys are doing great. Okay. So that to me is a success because you controlled it, and then right afterwards you said it happened, right? And she didn't like it. She was clearly under stress. Again, we can't make her like those things.
Yeah.
And you also want to look at things realistically for her. Right? She's like, what the hell is this thing coming straight at us?
No, I in hindsight, I was like, I would probably have been upset by it too.
Yeah.
Scooters and skateboards are also like the
Scooter,
highest
skateboards,
of the high. It's like
rollerblades,
that
like
plus squirrels are like the ultimate triggers. Rollerbladers too.
I'm not sure how it is here, but over by like Diversity, where the golf course is, tons of squirrels. And there's also a skate park down in the South Loop at Grand Park, that I'll have clients go to, like if they want to really press the skateboard stuff.
Yeah.
To set the foundation down. Now it is clearly different because, like you said earlier, when you put yourself in the situation, Kirby knows.
Oh yeah, that's the thing.
She knows, like, oh shit, we're doing this, right? So it kind of already puts her in that mindset. But if things blow up, again, you're just more practice for when things come out of the blue. That's how you're developing those habits. Like you said, make sure my leash was short. So my first instinct now is if a dog blows up, it's always this, so I can grab closer and have that immediate control over the head, and then I'm remoting. So if you're putting yourself in more situations that happens in a controlled context, when it happens in an uncontrolled context, you're boom, 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 boom.
Ready to go.
Force it happen. Okay. Questions about that?
No, I think it all makes sense.
Right. Excellent.
I will say when I'm running, there's always rollerbladers, skateboarders, so at least we're like
But she's running
attacking that.
I mean, she's running with you with not daily, pretty close to that now.
Oh yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like when we go down like Diversity, and that's where like a lot of them are. And like I appreciate we're in the middle of the 3 lanes of like people, bikes, whatever. Like I know that's like not an easy place to put her in, and I'm making her run. And
you can also potentially switch sides. To a little bit. So heel is specific, right?
Yeah.
So the reason why we make it consistent is to make it easier for the dog.
Yeah.
And the dog doesn't make the decision to move. Okay?
Yeah.
You make the decision. Now, the exception, in my book, behavior always supersedes obedience. So if I have a dog reactive dog here, and a dog is approaching, sometimes you'll see them
Turn.
come over here, right? And I'll tell the owner, let it slide. Because the dog said, I'm uncomfortable, and instead of being reactive, let me give some space and avoidance to come over here. And I go, that's a better choice. And we want the dog to let the dog have that so they understand there's other options. But then after so long, we might press it where it's like, no, now you have to go past, right? So just keep that in mind. So like when you're running back, if you feel going on your right side is better, what you can do is, remember before when she would go to the right, you pulled left on remote to eliminate that?
Yep.
If you wanted her on your right and you wanted to keep her on your right, you would cue right and then do the opposite, where you would motor to this side.
Yeah.
So now you're cueing it. So like my pit can walk, you know, left, right, and center.
Yeah.
And like a bunch of different complicated positionings, right? You don't need that obviously, but that's something that'll benefit you. Go over, but it's super simple. Cue the word right, pull to your right, tap, tap, tap. She comes over here, and once she's here, you don't allow her to the left.
Yep.
And then you would say heel, pull to the left, tap, 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 tap. Now she comes to the left, and now you're teaching heel is here, right is here.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else?
No, that was helpful.
Yeah, and we may be able to review that if we need to. You can try it out this week. Simple.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you're having issues, let me know.
Okay.
So let's go and get our setup ready, and I'm gonna have you guys show me just what you remember. Okay. Make sure that we're remembering it correctly, and then we'll add on the next thing for today.
Yes.
Yeah. We were sort of long.
Oh, yeah, got to start it on. Oh, because you have the orange one, right?
Yeah. Well, this one has the handle like the other one we have. Our other ones I like it's parents' house.
Sure. I had somebody else get a 50-footer too, and they're like, I see why you recommend the 30.
Yeah, it's like too long. Well, we have the 50-foot. Was it 50 or 30 at your parents'? So we'll just, I mean, next time we go up there, we'll do recall.
My parents have a nice, they're in the burbs and they have a nice big yard,
Yeah.
so it's like easier for her to, to let her off.
Sure.
Play in there.
Sure. And what's your number at right now?
40.
Okay.
No. Stay. No. Tell me when you're going to actually do it.
I know, I'm like,
Kirby.
And we added the recall. We said come last time, right?
Yeah. Yep.
You can start with come, with saying the come. Yep.
Kirby, come. Good girl. Oh, I should squat down, should I?
No, you're fine. Yep.
Good job.
Now, one thing I would do, or remember, is always at least 3 steps
Oh,
back.
Walking back, yeah.
Yep, okay?
Okay.
So we'll try it again. We'll do 2 more, then we'll swap.
Kirby.
Okay, do that one. You go. This is so much shorter. Wow.
Kirby, sit.
More comfortable?
Kirby, come. Come.
Yep. And back. 1, 2, 3. That's good.
Very good. Kirby.
Yep.
Very good. I didn't mean to motion for it. I meant to just make her sit.
You're okay.
Girl.
We'll do 1 more.
Yeah. Kirby, come. Come.
Tap,
No.
tap, tap, tap. Good. Back. 1, 2, 3. That's good.
Very good. Very good.
Excellent.
Good girl.
Let's go to swap.
Huh?
We'll swap handlers.
Kirby, come.
Good. 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 We'll do 1 more.
Kirby, come. Come.
Good.
I always like the big dramatic, like,
The movement.
have you seen that?
Good. Go ahead and bring Kirby back this way. There you go. Nice. Look at that. Very good. So I like her speed. I like the dramatic turn. In the beginning, you can see how she got kind of stuck.
Yeah.
Right? So then that's where like a little bit of pressure to direct her, like, no, don't get close to him. You want to come this way.
Yep.
Okay? So if we call Kirby, she comes to us, and let's say you decide to move, what should Kirby do?
Come towards me.
Yes, you should follow. Okay? So the come command, what we taught last week was like the first half. The second half is the when I call you, come to me and stay with me. Okay? So it's similar to the heel, but heel's very strict, right? It's your right side, walk with me, stay with me, stay when I stop, right? Recall is come to me, stay with me, and then sit once you arrive until I release you, right? So what we're gonna add today is what I call my side step exercise. You're gonna call Kirby, she lands, let's say she lands to your right. You're gonna go any direction but forward or forward light. You know why?
Because then she thinks we're healed.
Yeah. So if I start walking like this, I don't know if she's default healing or if she's staying with the body, she's the recall command, right? So what we'll do is we'll move in awkward directions, like to the left or reverse. You can even angle out, okay? Another thing we wouldn't want to do is if you go left, right, we go like this, we wouldn't want to go like this because that's forward leg, okay? So since she can't heel in these awkward directions, it's gonna cause her like turn and like face you. It's all perfectly fine. I just need her to move with you. Okay? So if everything stays the same, we issue the recall. When she comes, we let her settle. Then we do a movement. She should follow. Let her settle. Then another movement. She follows. Let her settle. Right? So when you come to that stop, allow her to put that butt down first before moving again. Okay? We'll do about 2 to 3 times. If she doesn't move with you, you'll start tapping. Kirby should move in.
Yeah.
The other part of this exercise is to force confusion. So sometimes the dog will be off and I'll tap them to get closer, but instead they'll shoot off. Okay, so then I can proof and go, nope, wrong way. If that happens, you just start reversing, you're remoting. We don't say come, because it's all tied to when I call you, you stick to me. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, questions?
Okay.
All right, who's gonna go first? Hey, we go this way, so looks like the sun came out.
Yeah.
We can get on the grass, not be in the mud. Good. And try to your right. Yep. Good. I'm gonna have you make it a bit more awkward, like this. You're turning just a bit, so it's looking a little bit like a forward motion. Okay. So we'll tell her break, and we'll try again.
Kirby.
Get that. Yeah. Kirby, come.
Ooh, nice turn. Good.
Very good.
There you go. Much better.
Very good.
That's good. Much better.
Good girl.
Good.
Good job.
And break forward. We'll do 3 more, then we'll swap.
Kirby.
I'm not even tapping her to do that.
Yeah, no. If she's moving with you, you're good. If there's a delay, then you tap to get her to follow.
Okay. Oh, wait, was it one more than switch? Or
3 more.
Kirby, come. Sorry, I'm trying to distract her from you.
Tap, tap, good. Good job. Good.
Very good.
Good.
Good job. Okay.
Perfect. 2 more.
You're good.
Kirby.
You did. You know she just won't like.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like
No, I
a
see it
man.
all the time. I see it all the time.
Kirby, come.
Good.
Very good.
Good.
Very good.
Excellent.
Good job.
Good.
Okay.
We'll do one more, then swap.
Hey.
Kirby. Kirby. Hi. Hang on 1 second.
Yep.
Kirby, sit.
Whatever. No. You didn't do it. That's a problem. So what we
Good.
do?
But you pulled the lead.
It's okay. No, like nobody called it, right? So it's all right.
Right.
So we just bring her back.
That's the thing. She's like knows the routine.
Yeah. We're gonna change it up a bit. So
Okay.
this is obviously again this is not realistic. This
Yeah.
is so we can get that concept in her head.
Yep.
After we do this batch, we'll switch topics. We'll still do recall.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna show you how to start recreating like more realistic scenarios.
Yeah.
If she won't like leave your side and stuff, but you can still practice towards that.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be great. Kirby, come.
So we're gonna have a 2-hour gap.
Very good.
Watch out.
Bye.
Good job. So good. Okay.
Good. We'll go ahead and swap here.
Yeah.
Right.
Kirby, come.
Nice turn. Very good. 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 4 more.
Kirby, come.
Nice turn. You're looking a lot more relaxed.
She is. Like the tail and her like tongue as well.
That was good. Very good. Good. Just a couple more.
Kirby, come.
Good. Very good. And then last one here.
Kirby, come.
Very good. So, what sucks is it's going to make it 16 more. Because now we're really cementing in that brain, right?
Okay.
So, it's okay. Now you know the process.
Yep.
When you do your recalls with each other, you don't have to do that every time. You just throw it in there sporadically, right? A couple reasons, again, are for one, to force confusion. So if I have to tap her for coming towards me and she gets confused, starts to shoot off, I can explain to her with the remote, no, don't ever run away, always run to me, okay? Here with her kind of going over you, right? Like the closeness and stuff. So it's a con in the beginning, especially if you have an insecure dog, right? Because this happens. But it's what, again, prevents her from running away. Eventually, once you get that comfort, you'll get the nice balance of her being free, happy and stuff, but having that control, okay? So, any questions about this?
Gotta practice.
I'm pleased with how she's doing though.
Oh yeah.
Like in terms of the, I mean, I know she's in this setting, she's very task-oriented, she likes it, but...
Yeah. I was telling her that she's looking more relaxed.
Yeah.
Right? Remember the first class, how shaky she was and everything?
Yeah.
Now instead her tail is loose, her tongue's a lot looser too, it's just her demeanor. And as you cover new topics with her, you're going to see a moment of stress, but then it typically resolves fairly quickly because the concepts are the same, right? You feel tension, you feel this, get over here. I pull up, you feel this, but then, right? And then when we go to the other stuff, it's the same. It's a little bit of leash pressure, a little bit of remote pressure, and once you follow it, it goes away. That it stacks. So it's easier for the dog to like figure out what to do, but also it's easier for them to get over it. Like, oh, I've done this already.
Yeah. Like, oh, these two sensations, I know.
Yes, very familiar. So it helps build confidence, but in the beginning you're going to see stuff like this, okay? But that's what that practice comes in, and it's making part of life what you guys have been doing. Her recovery time is just going to be the variable. I have a couple other dogs that I work with, and right off the first class, they were super insecure, but like 50 minutes in, you saw them like walking very up and like positive, you know, and I was like, boom, right there.
Yeah.
So, questions about that? Okay. So to make this a bit more realistic, considering that we don't have like the comfort yet where she'll just go off, right? I'm not sure if I talked about this last time, but let's say you have the end of the long leash and it takes short leash, and you start running off with Kirby, we need you to recall that. Okay, so what we're recreating is that motion, but typically when people call their dogs, it's when they're moving away from you.
Yeah.
Okay, chasing something they shouldn't chase, running towards the street, running towards a dangerous situation. Almost always when the recall needs to work, when they're moving towards something. Okay, so we can recreate that using two people. Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We're gonna start first with walking to build the foundation, and then we'll move to running. So what you'll do is you'll have Kirby's leash. You'll start here, and then as you're walking away, about 10 to 15 feet away is when you issue the recall and already start tapping and moving backwards. Okay. Person holding Kirby is going to keep walking. In the beginning, she might do this.
Yeah.
Right, because she's
Like,
going to
I'm
think
here.
heel, right? So we have to teach her to disconnect. So the person moving backward and the person moving forward helps that tension kick in sooner to help her turn off, okay? We're gonna see, ideally, we want her to do the turn away prior to the leash tension kicking in. So we might play with the number a bit, but we gotta kind of get her, kind of used to like, this is not just I'm here
Yeah.
and I go, now this is me moving and I gotta lead you go to them.
Yeah.
Okay?
Cool.
So who's going to do the walk with Kirby?
I knew. Got that.
So you'll grab the short leash. Yep. And you're not going to say heel, you're just going to walk, okay? And as soon as he says, Kirby, come, you're going to drop your leash, but keep your movement forward.
Okay.
Okay?
Kirby, come.
Now back, tap, 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 back, tap, 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 tap. Right there. Good girl. Good. And we'll repeat. And you're at 40?
40, yeah.
Let's try 45.
Okay.
Gonna go one. Understood.
Kirby, come.
Yep, tap, 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 back. Good. Got a girl. Repeat that 3 more times.
Kirby, come.
Yep, tap, 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 back. Let's go 42.
Oh, I didn't mean to make her do it. Whatever. This is gross.
Kirby, come.
And try one more time. When you give that that command, I'm gonna have you kick it a little bit sooner and do a pretty like tap 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 rhythm, because I want to either see your turn or at least start to kind of back pedal.
So simultaneous command and tapping right away. Just
Yeah, so immediately after, and then moving back to see if we can get her to either stall to the turn or turn right away. Okay. It's confusing because she's like, do I walk next to you?
Yeah.
Or so.
Gosh, it's the game.
Kirby, come.
Yep, back, right there, good. Yeah, I saw her walk up next to you. Did you see it?
Yeah.
Did you feel it? Yeah.
I did.
Good. So we'll do the same thing. We'll swap handlers here.
Should we try like a different direction? Like switch? I don't know. Like,
Oh, like different.
yeah.
It's gonna take a minute. Because
Yeah.
she has to. When I saw it, right?
Yeah.
She sped up to your leg. Another thing you could do is time it to where, right when that leash is about to get caught, recall, and jump back to the top of her as you tap on the
Okay.
redirect her.
Okay. This one, just a reminder. Kirby, come.
There you go.
Very good. Very good. Very good, girl.
That was good.
Yeah.
One.
Try it again. And don't forget the
Yeah. Wait. Kirby, come.
back tap. There you go. Good. Good girl.
Good girl. Good girl.
Try 3 more times. back. There you go. Good. Back. There you go. You got it right there. Good.
Very good. Very good.
Put her in the heel, and we're going to take a quick break. We'll talk about that real quick.
Okay.
That was actually good. Okay. So she got tangled up.
Yep.
Right? And I was like, tap, 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 back, move, right? Most people would stop to take the leash and stuff from the dog.
Yeah.
But real life's gonna, when you're calling her, there's the other shit going on.
Yeah.
Right? So I use that to my advantage. Okay, even though it's just a leash, it's the same thing in life. Something to get her attention. Because she's like, what's going on here? It's like, don't worry about that. Get over here, right? The other thing is, she and then start to go into flight response.
Yep.
She curved out. And then you gave one more tap, and you adjust it, and then she whoop, and started moving towards you. That was also correct, okay? So, if you see the leash get tangled up in her legs, use your judgment, work her through it, okay? I did have a client, them being a client, had their dog on a long leash and took them to, there's like a big open area where the dogs play, and because she was afraid her dog was going to run away, and as it was playing, got wrapped around the leash, a leg, broke the leg, okay? So, if it looks bad, right, if it's really tangled, stop, take off the pressure, reset. But if it's just, just kind of like, pulling her a little bit, she's fine, work her through it, make her think, okay? Because part of that is also like, there's all this crap going on, what am I supposed to, and this thing is happening.
Yeah.
That is like frustration, but that's what's gonna make your obedience more reliable, okay? So we'll do a couple of more.
They tied down. I don't know
You
if that
can
was.
do 38. We're gonna do a couple of more. If we don't get her to do that return, because I would like to either see her stall and not move forward with the person, but instead move backwards.
Yep.
That's already in starting seeking. Okay. If we don't get that, or just the obvious turn,
Right.
then we'll cap it here, and that will be what you practice. Because it makes no sense to go to the running part of it, because that's the next step, right? Is you run with Kirby, and then you do the recall. But if she can't do it, if she can walk, yeah. Okay.
Go
So
up,
do
we
two more.
run, girl. Weird question, maybe to get it less tangled, would a harness ever be better to have for these purposes? I'm only thinking just the way the leash comes often around the front and then between the legs, or do we like it so we can pull the neck?
Yeah, I'm saying to redirect the head,
Yeah.
you need here,
Yeah.
or ideally here, but here, because if you put the harness on, she can still forge forward.
Yep.
And then at 30 feet away, she's actually going to have more leverage over you.
For sure.
I'm not opposed to you experimenting with it, but if it's it's not working, then I just go back to the setup.
Not too concerned about it being between
Yep. There you go.
Hey, good job!
Good.
Good job!
Last one.
Okay. Okay.
Hey, baby. Ready?
Okay. Kirby, come.
Good. Now it's better. Tap back, tap. There you go. Good. Right there.
Good job!
So the reason why that was better is because when the tap kicked in, she just turned.
Yep.
It wasn't the leash, it was the tap.
It was her,
okay. And then here she stalled a bit, and I said tap, and you saw her pick up the pace. That's good as well.
Cool.
Okay, very good. So we'll cap it there for Kirby. If you get her to respond easily, right, and you're seeing, oh great, she's detaching now, then I throw it in earlier, right, with the walking. So instead of because we switched from 10 to 15 feet in, to do it towards the end of the leash, you can use that tension to guide her real quick.
Yeah.
To, all right, let's go back. You're still walking, but now we're going to call you 10 to 15 feet in, so there's plenty of slack. And she turns, and we know she's turning because of the cue or the remote. Okay? Do that a few times, and I go, okay, great. Now let's do a little bit of a light jog, repeat. Okay? Questions about that?
I know.
Good, yeah. Her lean
know, it's just, my mom like took videos of her last time, like just zooming in on her, just like the whole like complete wrap around, being like, the dog does not look comfy.
Yeah, that's funny. She's doing good. Stuff that you saw, I would expect to see. Nothing out the ordinary. So now you have to tackle like multiple topics, building comfort, right, and her to be loose and stuff, but also at the same time practicing your recall. So I would say once you feel pretty confident, you know, like you do the setup, and then you blend that with walks in the park and meandering.
Yeah.
And then if you feel like this is spot on, then I might lay off of this a bit and really then focus on getting the comfort back.
Okay.
You know, and then when you see her really open up, not right away, but you give her a few days, maybe a week or so.
Before even like necessarily like
Trying to incorporate it more realistic.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, because of that like nervous anxiety and insecurity stuff.
Yeah.
That's why she's more so on the positive side. Okay. Other than that, she's doing good. So I think this is 4 out of 12, correct?
Yes.
I know. I think we had talked about people coming into the home and stuff. Is that correct? Yeah. That if you want to set that up, you can. The Zoom, you don't have to wait for a week. You know, you can set it in midweek.
Yeah, so my question for that was being like, do we need to do that when we have like someone new over, or is it just like normal life, like you would like 3 of us just via Zoom?
You could do it a couple of ways. One would be someone she's never met before,
Okay.
right? Or someone that she's met before and absolutely likes and is like crazy for. Okay. Because it's that, in my opinion, I think if you can make it happen with someone the dog absolutely adores, it's easier for someone that they don't like. Okay, because the dog really wants to get to the person to greet them.
Yeah.
Whereas with someone they don't like, it's kind of like, well,
Yeah.
I don't really want anything to do with you, right?
Yeah.
It's really just to practice the exercise of clearing her from the door space to calm her down, right? Now, if your place is relatively quiet at the moment because of COVID or whatever, nobody's coming over, then I would just say wait. Because what I would do is I'd send you a video. I'd say watch this video to understand what it looks like, and then arrange for someone to come over, and then we practice. So if you have family or friends coming over on a somewhat regular basis, then it makes sense.
Yeah.
If it's slower, then I would just save those classes, and they're not going to expire.
Yep.
And when it's like, hey Jesse, now we are, then I go, okay, now we can. Here's that little bit that we need.
Okay.
Okay.
I think we should schedule it. Because like his brother lives
so we can do
in
it
the
for
neighborhood
that.
too, so it's
Oh,
like,
sure.
let's just have him. She likes him quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably like how I feel safest doing it. With
Okay. Then if you wouldn't mind, send me an email to remind me to send you that video. And then make sure you watch that first. Get any questions down that you may have. Expect the first part of the video. We're answering those questions. We'd want him to come in a little bit later in the Zoom session.
Okay.
Okay, so it's more kind of organic.
Yep.
And then socializing with like new people and stuff. Correct.
Yes.
Like that's something we want to work on, right?
Yes.
Have you guys been doing the muzzle conditioning and everything?
Yeah, we'll work on it.
Okay.
I feel like I need to force it upon her a bit more than I have.
Sure. So one thing you can do is on your walks, you can put it on, and what happens is she's going to be walking and doing this, and every time she paws at it, I just keep walking. I pull up and remote until she removes her paws, and she can only do one thing at a time.
Yep.
You can fight the muzzle, she's going to walk, right?
Okay, walk.
So the remote will make her like, and you moving because she's got a balance, and then she's got the thing going off. She's got to let it go. So it's what we call force conditioning. Okay. It almost always happens at some point, but the food stuff just helps make it progress faster.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to socialize it with your dog? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have a dog, like a friend's dog that we can use?
No.
Okay.
Not really.
So one potential option for you guys would be the pet walk.
Okay.
Okay, we actually just did it yesterday. We had a dog show up that I trained. They wanted to socialize. We had someone there who had a friendly dog that was like, yeah, go ahead and use them, or use her, and we did.
Okay.
So I show how that works. Otherwise, I have other clients that are actually within the area that also want to work on socializing with the dog, and I can reach out and see if I can set up something.
Okay.
So that's another potential. Socializing with people. Okay. In the home, different. We do that over Zoom.
Yep.
And was it kids as well?
Yeah, I mean,
remember.
she's never really been around kids. She's not like, seemingly she's not like freaked out by them for the most part, but obviously like, yeah, like in our old building, remember that little baby would just like come up to her and like grab her, like literally just like pet her face, and I was like, thank God that was okay, but like,
Sure.
we've never really done it, so yes.
Okay. So
I don't know.
we can do one where I do a touch sensitivity thing, where
Yeah.
I have a sleeve and I can touch her and stuff to see how she feels about it.
Okay.
If she growls, we correct it and all that stuff. go ahead and just have your muzzle for next class just in case,
Okay.
and I can show you how we go about introducing your leg to people on the street. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, realistically speaking, I don't care if my dog likes someone on the street.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
But if you're trying to push for more from Kirby, you have to go into unrealistic realms.
Yep.
Does that make sense? So, you know, going back to the patio setting, you know, someone's like, oh, hey, your dog's so cute, can I pet her? I'm like, actually, we're training her. And if you'd like to help us, we'd love to have you pet our dog, right? And I would give you a very structured approach
Yeah.
to help her. Okay? So cool. So if you would please send me an email so I don't forget.
Yep.
And then anything else?
Okay, so
And she knows down, correct? From previous
Yeah.
training?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what we'll do is we'll be going kind of back and forth between behavior and obedience, where I'll give you the instructions, and then you're of course practicing that, and we'll touch upon it in the class, make sure everything's going well, that if you're able to practice it, and then we'll start going to the other commands. We still have heel, I'm sorry, not heel, we have down, place, sit, and we didn't stay yet?
No.
Yeah, and then stay, right? So once we get all those commands down, we start to progress towards practicing all that stuff off leash. Okay? Or on the long leash transition off leash. Okay? Anything else? Cool.
Thanks.
Excellent. Good job, guys. Yeah, if you need anything, you let us know. Otherwise, we'll see you in a week.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.